Welcome to Tulsa Titans, highlighting our local executives who are making an impact. Today, I've got Lukas Sundahl. Lukas, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Happy to be here.
I'm excited to have you. So you're the controller of Certified Source Performance Group and the founder of Accounting Couture. And I've watched that day to day. It's a really, really cool thing you're doing there.
Yeah, it's been a fun way to showcase the accounting profession, and eventually, as we grow and expand, kind of give back to people looking to pursue a certification such as like the CPA, CMA, that type of thing. So, just trying to advocate for accounting. That's a great career profession. Lots of growth for people that want to move into that industry, and then support them as they try and move up in the ranks in accounting.
No, I think it's great. And you've added some fun to it because everybody thinks of accounting and they just do. And it is boring, right? But we were
Yes.
talking about that you can't forecast without it, right? So you get to be a part of the forecasting and writing in the CEO. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so accounting typically has been thought of like mundane tasks, just behind the scenes crunching numbers, which that was true in the past, but anymore, a lot of those tasks have been automated. So accountants are needing to step to the plate to help with forecasting and not just like developing forecasts, but having input with the CEO or other executives, making sure that spending makes sense, aligns with the strategy of the company and whatnot. So it's not just like stuck behind a computer screen, not interacting with people. You're constantly talking with the sales team, the executives, and just making sure that the financial plan makes sense and just being an advocate and steward for the company's financial resources.
Yeah, and it is interesting. You brought up a key point that automation is playing a big role. You're not having to get down into the boring stuff. You get the overall number. And yeah, when you're around a couple of the executives like the CEO and then the sales team, those are big personalities.
Yes, for sure. And so, yeah, as you develop in your career and like work with people, you develop some like skills to kind of um, find the best ways to communicate with those type of people. So people may have different approaches that they seek out, but as long as you're trying to work with somebody and trying to understand from their perspective, that'll make it easier to give your input. And basically, accountants are really essentially just storytellers. So they tell the story of what's happened in the past and what may happen in the future based on the strategic initiatives, other financial plans, what the company wants to do in terms of growth opportunities. So it's just being a good storyteller and being open and honest with your executives and coworkers.
Well, that's some great advice. Well, and it's valuable too, right? You have more time to put your mind in the right place on the bigger things, and kind of talking about time because that's what you said with getting out of the details because of automation. The last couple of years have shifted a lot of people's time, right? When we've been working from home or hit with something every other month, things are constantly changing. Has that shifted where you're choosing to spend some of your time? What are some things that you're spending less time on, and where are maybe some key areas that you're devoting more time?
So I'm always devoting time to continuing education, not just myself, but I feel like other accounting professionals. So with automation trends, anything that you can do to upskill, either like through certification or just general coursework, using some business intelligence tools. So I'm devoting my time to continuing to upskill and definitely taking less time to obviously still doing the accounting tasks, but finding ways to move from the repetitive work. So I'm trying to seek out opportunities to use automation when possible, or build reports that can refresh quickly without having to manually manipulate the data.
And do you have a daily or weekly ritual? Just some things that you do that help you kind of get in the right mindset or be effective?
Yes. So one thing I do, and sometimes I'll write them down. Sometimes I just have them in my mind. But like having some goals and like initiatives that I want to achieve for the year, and then from a daily basis, in the mornings I usually wake up pretty early. I have a daily Bible reading with Dr. Charles Stanley, so I read my Bible in the morning, and then from there I try to hit the gym and work out, and then that has me ready for the day. So I get like a good base and sense of gratitude for the day, starting out with the Bible reading. And then I love working out. I used to be a personal trainer, so as much as I can, I still try to get to the gym before work.
I find because I've had people ask from the physical aspect, health and wellness, I'm having to stretch more now than I ever did. I think I should have always done that. I
Yeah.
find actually working out, I don't think enough people talk about it. My mind is in a whole different space. It runs more efficiently. It's completely clear. We live in Oklahoma, so sometimes you can wake up with whatever allergies in the air, right? It flushes a lot of that stuff and gets me actually mentally prepared for my day. Do you find anything similar?
Yes, definitely. And even some days when I'm like feeling a little sluggish when I first get out of bed, like sometimes later in the week when you've been up late with like kids' sports activities and then trying to get some extra stuff done around the house, still taking the time to go work out, it's a boost of energy, it makes you feel better. And like you said, it does give you clarity of mind. So it makes working, especially when you're like thinking like strategically and like higher levels of thought, it makes it that much easier when you've had a chance to work out and increase the blood flow.
You said something else about your ritual that I thought was really interesting because I do it as well. So I'm a tech company. So we've got data everywhere and all these things automated. I still have a book. And in the morning, I write down my top couple goals and I look back at my other goals. I still almost have to reformat and go, wait, there's a lot going on. These are the most important things. Do you find yourself going back to kind of that process too?
Oh yeah, definitely. So sometimes I'll have like a notepad kind of similar to that, and then I'll make notes and then constantly reevaluating. So some things that seemed super important like a week or two ago, they may still be important, but there may be other things that have taken precedent. So it's just constantly adjusting to what makes the most sense at the current time. So keep things on the note so you don't like lose track of them, but move to what is most important, and that will ultimately help the company be more successful.
And then throughout your career, has there been one or multiple people that have come alongside you? Have you learned all this on your own, or there's somebody out there that you admire that's kind of helped you along your way?
Oh man, I've had a ton of people that I've worked for that have been super helpful at different aspects. One of my jobs with aerospace manufacturing company, my boss at that job was John. Super helpful. He helped me out from the accounting knowledge perspective. I've had some other leaders that have helped me in terms of like leadership from a management perspective. And then where I'm at now with my current role and my boss, he's been an awesome person to advocate for, like stretching myself, like so thinking more strategically, trying to think long term, and putting myself in a position to not only be beneficial now, but do things that'll help both myself and the company long term. So I'm more of an advocate for the company and can help them long term.
No, that's awesome. I find even the reflection questions every time I go to a couple mentors and go, "Hey, am I thinking the right way?"
Yeah, and so it's great to have people like I've talked to like here in person. Like I've obviously worked in Tulsa, Oklahoma for a while now, but I find some people that I've connected with on LinkedIn. I mean, some of the videos I've done through Accounting Couture have put me in front of other accountants. So I've developed a rapport with some other accountants across the U.S. and then there's even a few that are uh, across the ocean. So some people in Europe, other countries. So it's one thing I think is very valuable is networking. So obviously networking from a local perspective and being a good teammate, and then just networking with people within your industry, both locally and online as well.
Yeah, and I'm a big advocate against a lot of the just some of the TikTok, but the Facebook feeds that kind of just make your mind numb. But I absolutely love technology because it is connecting us to other bright minds. And if we get specific about leadership or industry, I find the same connections do me a world of good.
Yeah. So one thing I try to be like whenever I'm online is I try to be intentional. So I want to go on there in a position to like share something I think is valuable, or in the same arena, find other people that are sharing stuff that is valuable and commenting and interacting with them. So um, some of my stuff is like more humor based, but I still want to try and put stuff out there that is helpful for people. And then in the same way, when I find other people's helpful content, uh, comment and interact with them so that they get some exposure as well.
And I've talked a lot of in this interview just kind of about automation and technology, which we're both heavily invested in. But I believe that makes what we're going through right now. We're looking at hiring deficits, we're looking at inflation, right? And if you watch the news, it can kind of look scary, but it's a much different time than '08. Do you see it the same way?
Yeah, I definitely do. It's the way technology is made, even just like the accounting industry. There's some things now where they need people in accounting with higher skill sets, not just like accounting, but financial planning and analysis. So there's like a skills gap from what's generally taught in college, which is obviously very important, but there's like a skills gap and positions open for people to move into to focus more on the forecasting and the long-term vision and aligning finance and accounting or resources and thinking to go along with business strategy. So yeah, there's a ton of difference from what now versus '08 in terms of the jobs that are available and what's going to be more beneficial long term. So there's definitely openings in this career path.
When you and I talked about offline too, just because there are things that are definite indicators right now that can look kind of scary on the news is really controlling morale of the people we're around. What are your thoughts on that, and what are some of the things that you guys are doing to kind of control the morale during tough times?
Yeah, good question. So the biggest thing I feel like, no matter what type of market you're in or what type of economic cycle, it's just open communication. So if you're open and honest and have a good dialogue between all levels of the company, from executives down to the people working the front desk and staffing the phones, as long as you're open and sharing like what's going on currently, but where you project, like once the economy gets better, then people are like less apprehensive and less scared. So the news does a good job trying to scare people, and there's definitely some things that are concerning. But overall, if you keep have people just focus on the mission and vision and show them like ways we're going to get there, like when the economy gets better, we may be able to do some expansion, that type of thing. So just creating an open dialogue and then giving feedback both ways. So executives down, lower level up. That's the big thing. Just communicating and making sure that people are stay on the same page, that no matter what's going on now, it's going to get better. And let's just keep plugging along to get to where we want to go.
No, that's great advice. I mean, you're the guy to go to, right? You're the data guy. You're out of the
Yes.
weeds with some automation going, listen, here was the trends, and
Yeah.
here's where we, Mr. Executive, here's where we need to budget, but here's where we're going to go, and here's where the uptick is, right?
Yes. Yeah. And that's the thing too. Like if you have a good executive team and good planning in place, yes, there's going to be some downturns here and there and some things that may cause some minor setbacks. But as long as you have a good business model and stick to it, and like obviously analyze market trends, but if you have a good plan in place and you have a good motivated workforce, you can accomplish a lot.
So one last question. I'm a big reader, and I know our audience is, and I'm interested in what you dug into. If your house was on fire and you had to go back, you wanted to read two books again, what books would you grab and why?
Well, first and foremost, I would definitely keep my Bible, and that's going to be safe. But if I can only carry two books besides that, I would do Atomic Habits by James Clear. And then the other book I would do is Mindset by Carol Dweck. So it's having an open mindset versus a fixed mindset. And all that means is with an open mindset, you don't limit yourself to where like, okay, I'm not good at math currently, but I can get better. So with a fixed mindset, you'd be like, you say, I'm not good at math, and you just end the conversation there. But with an open mindset, you say, I'm not good at math yet, or you just leave it open, like I'm still working to improve. So uh, no matter what industry you're in, you can always get better. So people think that accountants are just amazing with numbers, and I feel like I'm decent at math, but a lot of that is anymore is done like on a spreadsheet or a calculator, and I don't have that fixed mindset of like, oh yeah, I'm amazing at math, no matter what skill it is. As long as you like, if you're dedicated, you work hard in practice, you can get better. So if math's not your thing, you can always get better. Reading, same type of thing. Just deliberate practice, and you can get better.
Well, give us one takeaway. So Atomic Habits is one of my favorite books, period. It's why I read when I do my cardio. And so
Oh yeah,
give us something, a couple takeaways why somebody should read that book, because I agree.
it's basically, so some people think like, oh, a habit like forms after 21 days, but the biggest thing is just being intentional and starting small. So if people want to, let's say, like get better at like get like in a better state of fitness and working out, you don't have to like go to the gym for an hour like day one. Just go there for 5 minutes, walk on the treadmill, go around the track a couple times, and then just call it good, and just build up in incremental steps. some people, whenever they start like a new initiative, they may jump all in, but they'll lose motivation. And so, like, the habit is just getting to the gym initially, and then building from there, and just taking incremental steps that will develop long-term success. So, motivation to go to the gym is not always going to be there, but if it's a habit where you're always going on a consistent basis, then showing up is already taken care of, and you just keep building from there.
And I've seen that. So if you haven't and you listen to this, go check out Lucas's accounting couture. But that's a lot of that too, right? Is people don't understand how people get the output that's necessary right now in marketing, and it's a bunch of little things stacked.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just being intentional and just, yeah, doing things, and also seeing like what other people have done and have been successful with, and then trying to emulate that. Obviously, you want to put your own perspective on it and share, like, you want to be authentic, but yeah, just being consistent, trying to deliver value to other people. So no matter what industry you're in, just trying to make content that people find valuable. And then with myself, I try and add a little bit of humor to it, so then it sticks with people, especially people in the accounting world. Hopefully they get some of the dad joke humor a little more than others might. But the biggest thing is just, yeah, uh, putting yourself out there, be authentic, and try and share something that you think other people would find valuable.
Well, Lucas, if anybody wants to get a hold of you or has some questions based on what we talked about, is there a preferred way for them to reach out?
Yeah, so for me, my big thing is like, on LinkedIn. So I'm pretty active on there. So you could, find my profile, either myself or the Accounting Tour page, message me, and I try and get back to people that contact me through that platform pretty consistently. So that's probably the best way to reach me.
Perfect. Everybody, thank you. This is Kellen Cowan, the owner of New Wave Solutions. Lucas, thanks for giving today.
Yes, thank you so much.